It's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the number one business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we're on a mission. And our mission is to empower, our mission is to inspire, and our mission at the end of the day is to give you all of the resources that are necessary to execute the big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And on this particular episode, we have the one and only Dr. Will Moreland. Now, Dr. Will Moreland is someone I've been able to admire for about the last 8 years. It might be 9 years now, by the way, and the amazing things that he does. Now, I know y'all are reading his bio, so you can look right below, and some of you have already Googled him before you got here. And yes, he's a family man. That's pretty cool. Yes, he's someone that served in our military. So thanks for serving in the Army, by the way. We appreciate that. Yes, he's someone that focuses on leadership. And that's very, very important. And we'll talk about that whole leadership piece. But he's also someone that helps entrepreneurs be able to communicate their story, communicate their message, communicate their expertise as a leader or through the business lens. So we've got a very unique individual here today, and I'm proud to say he's a cool person. So what's up, Dr. Will Moreland? How are you?
My man, Shay, man, I appreciate you so much for having me, man, bringing me into your community. Let me first start off by saying, man, I so appreciate what you are doing and what you have done in our space to make it easier for individuals like me to get our message out. So I applaud you, man. I really appreciate the work that you're doing.
Thank you so much, man. And look, let me ask the question because we're going to discuss how to live your core. And no one, including me, I read some things, don't really understand what core means. So take a moment because our whole discussion is around how to live your core. Tell us two things, man, because you can handle this. One, what's the backstory to core? What's the origin? How did you get there? And number two, what does it mean? And how am I going to benefit on this conversation that we're going to be having?
Yeah, so thank you. Great question. So I came to a point in my life at 35 years old. I was successful, but I wasn't fulfilled. I was successful, but I wasn't fulfilled. And I started asking myself, what would it take for me to be fulfilled, to really have a true sense of meaning in life? And that's when I went on what I call my clarity journey to find this sense of fulfillment. You know, they say the two most important days in your life is the day that you're born and the day you figure out why. So I wanted to know why I was walking on God's green planet. And so when it comes to living from your core, it's an acronym and we'll unpack it later on. It stands for clarity, opportunities, relationships, and experiences. And these are, I believe, the four foundational principles you want to build your life around.
Now, I'm curious because you had served in the military. You've done so many things. How did you find yourself wavering and not too sure on what you were here for, by the way? And for those folks that are over at morelandtraining.com, you'll see all the awards he's won. I mean, the guy's been like the number one entrepreneur, the number one veteran. He's got over 50 best-selling books. And yet he's telling us that there was a period of time, and we're curious what that period was, that he wasn't too sure. And he had to go on this journey. So what led to the uncertainty for you to go look for your own clarity?
Like many of us, we grow up and we're raised by our parents, we're raised by our teachers, we're raised by our spiritual leaders, and all of them have ideas. Like even from a little kid, people start to say, you're going to be my little doctor, you're going to be my little lawyer, you're going to be my little this, my little that, you're going to do this. And people see you in life and they begin to say, you should do this, I see you doing that. And so what happens, Chai, is we start getting everybody else's idea about who we should be. And we usually never stop and discover for ourselves, what do I really like doing? What am I really happiest doing? And so what happened was I realized at this point in my life, I had all these titles. I knew what everybody else called me. This person called me dad. This person called me husband. This person called me mentor. This person called me boss. And I had just all these swarming, ideas. And all these ideas came with expectations, from my employees. They wanted me to be this. My family wanted me to be this. But I didn't really know who I was. I was raised in Compton, California. So I didn't know, do I really like rap music, or do I just listen to it because that was the environment I was raised in? Do I really like fried chicken, or do I just eat it because that's what my grandmother cooked every Sunday morning? I did not know. I could have liked escargot, but they told me black people didn't do that. Did I like skiing? I didn't know if I liked skiing because they told me black people didn't go skiing. They told me we didn't get in the water. So I went on this journey of discovery, and I said, you know what? I'm going to take a year and I'm just going to try everything. I'm going to go camping. I'm going to go skiing. I'm going to go eat the escargot. I'm going to go and eat the frog legs, and I'm going to go and eat the alligator, and I'm going to go eat all these different things that originally a guy from the inner city of Compton wouldn't have done, because that wasn't the idea that people had for me. So it was all around this philosophy of, I was going to live my idea. We all get, if we're fortunate, 80, 90 days, 80, 90 years to live on this planet. If we're really fortunate, how are you going to live it out? So that was my question to myself. How was I going to live it out and find fulfillment?
One of the things that I admired, that I didn't know until before this call, as we were preparing, is how you had traveled and lived in different countries, and you learned appreciation not only for diversity but for doing different things, man. So that's pretty cool. Go ahead now and break down this acronym that has become one of your core foundations. It's become what you teach, what you share. I believe it's something that's going to be unique for the audience. So go CORE, CORE. So for those folks that are just tuning in, he's going to break down this how to live your core, CORE, and he'll give you the acronym and what they stand for. Yeah. Talk to us, Will. Dr. Will Moreland.
After I went on this, what I call my clarity journey, I didn't have all these fancy terminologies, right? I was just trying to figure out life. But after I thought about it and I sat down, I came to the point where there were real 4 key areas in life that you need to really focus on. So number 1 is you need to get clear. Get clear on who you are and how you want to live out your life. How do you want to express your gifts and your talents? So you want to get real clear. So when I'm working with my clients, we invest a lot of time. How do you want to trade your 80 or 90 years on this planet? So then once we get crystal clear on that, we're now going to seek out opportunities that allow you to live out your clarity. So just as an example, if you said, you know what, I want to impact people, I want to help people, what's the opportunity that's going to allow you to do that? Is it becoming a life coach? Is it becoming a teacher? Is it becoming a professor? How can we do that? What's the opportunity that's going to allow us to do that? And then relationships. You're going to have a better quality of life based upon the relationships that you develop in life. And so as entrepreneurs, we all say we're doing this for our family. We're doing this for our legacy. But when it comes down to it, a lot of people are not investing time with their family. I've read so many stories, talked to so many people that as they were building the business, as they were pursuing this and pursuing that, they lost their family. So we want you to key in on your key relationships and make sure that you have a system around your life that allows you to connect with those that are most important to you. And then the last thing is the E. How do you want to experience life? There's over 200 countries out there. How many of them do you want to see? Here in the United States, we have 50 states. How many of those states do you want to see? How do you want to play out life? What are those experiences? What makes you happy? I love beaches. I love the water. And so for me, I want to see as many beaches on this beautiful planet as possible. So that was one of the reasons why I ended up living in St. Martin, because St. Martin has 37 beaches on that island. And I had the pleasure of going to every single one of them, all 37 beaches, because that's how I want to experience life. So that's living from your core, man. It's really getting down to what really is going to fulfill you and how are you going to exchange your time on this planet.
Very powerful. How to live your core. And you're hearing from Dr. Will Moreland. And one of the things he's known as is the number one leadership life trainer. Now, when you say leadership life trainer, what does that mean to the person that's hearing it for the very, very first time? That says, wow, I like the idea of leadership. I want to live my best life. Take a moment when you have that term, the number one leadership life trainer. What should they be thinking of? What should they be hearing?
Yeah, so number one, we're just going to break it down: leadership, life, and trainer. So when we look at leadership, you realize that each of us are leaders. So the question becomes is what type of leader are you? So when we look at simple terminologies like um, if I look at my weight, if I look at my health, how are you leading your healthy lifestyle? When I look at my finances, how am I leading my finances? And so when we think about leadership, the core around leadership, great leaders have vision, they have integrity, they have a mission around things that they do. So when you look at all the key areas of your life, I want you to examine your leadership in that area. I want you to examine your leadership in that area. So if you look at your finances, the question is, do you have a vision for your finances? How are you managing those finances? And what's your mission for your finances? I tell my clients all the time, if you don't have a mission for your money, then your money will always go missing. If you don't have a mission for your money, then your money will always go missing. When we talk about our health, you hear people say things like, man, I just let myself go. Well, why did you let yourself go? Because you didn't have a vision for how you wanted your body to look. You didn't have a mission for your body. For me, I want my body to be as healthy as when I'm 90 as when I'm 50. That's the mission. That's the vision. So I'm doing things now to ensure. So between 40 and 50, I have 40 years to plan it out if I want to have a healthy 90-year-old body. So then when you think about your life, I want you to think about your life and how do you want to invest your life? Once again, as I just said, this is a beautiful planet. We're on a beautiful earth. How do you want to live your life? You need to get crystal clear on that. And then the third element is training. I want you to have the mindset that as we go through this life, we're just training. And what does it mean to train? It means that every single day I'm trying to get better. I may not do it right today, but I have an opportunity to come back tomorrow and do it better. And so every day we're training. I tell all our clients every single day, we're waking up with the mindset that we're training to be just a little bit better than we were yesterday. And so when you put those elements together, leadership, life, trainer, I want everybody to be that for themselves. I want you to be the number one leader in your life, and I want you to train like the champion you are.
I'm listening to you speak, man, and I'm like, whoa, this guy has it all together. I mean, he's planning between now and 90. How cool is that, by the way? He has the whole core philosophy, which is cool. He has the leadership life trainer, so he has that thing wired and broken down. The question is, was Dr. Will Moreland always this way? Was there a time in your life that you might feel open to sharing where things weren't rocking and rolling, right? Life is a series of being on track and then you're off track and then you're on track and then you're off track. Was there a time in your life where, you were off track? And then what were some things you did to get back on track? And you that's at home is like, whoa, I've got to get this core thing down, but I'm off track right now. And well, what can Dr. Will Moreland share with me as well? And if you're doing really, really well and you want to go to the next level, you listen in very carefully because he's going to share what you can do to take it to a whole nother level. But first, when was the time you had a setback, man? Did you have to bounce back from it?
Yeah, definitely. I think about literally the first 20 years of my life. As I said earlier, I was raised in Compton, California. Compton at that time was said to be literally the worst city in America. I was raised by my grandmother and my single mother. I found myself on the wrong side of the track. So when you're listening to me living from my core, I want you to understand that it didn't automatically start like that. You're looking at a guy who is an ex-gangbanger, ex-drug dealer. You're looking at a guy that was in and out of jail. You're looking at an individual that didn't have any vision for his life the first 20 years of his life. And then I had a situation where I was in front of a judge, and this judge told me, he said, listen, Mr. Moreland, I was 18 years old. He says, if I sentence you today, this record is going to go with you for the rest of your life, and you're headed nowhere fast. What I'm going to do is I'm going to allow you to leave my courtroom and come back in 2 weeks. And I need you to tell me in 2 weeks what you're going to do with your life. Well, I have to be honest with you. I left that courtroom. I didn't have no clue. So in my mind, let me go ahead and party these last 2 weeks because I'm getting ready to go to jail. And 3 days before I was supposed to return to court, I had a disruptor come into my life. I call this gentleman a disruptor. His name was Corey Oliver. He was a United States Army recruiter. And I was walking in the mall and he looks at me and he says, have you ever thought about going to the Army? And I looked at him, and in that moment, I had never thought about going to the Army, but I knew in that moment this was a pivotal question. This was, even though I didn't understand the fullness of it, I knew this was going to be game changing, life changing. I looked at him and I said, I'm ready. Let's go. He looked at me with a look of surprise, and he later revealed to me, he says, man, I've been in this mall for 2 years. I haven't put anybody in the Army because guys in my neighborhood, we didn't go to the Army. That wasn't something that was a part of our life plan. And when I joined the military, that began to be my life change because it did 4 quick things, and I'll share it with you, that I call my 4 P's of transformation. Number one, it put me in a new place. That's number one. If you want to change your life, you got to start hanging out in new places. When you hang out in new places, you're going to meet new people. When you hang out with new people, they're going to have a different conversation, and that conversation is going to help change your philosophy about how you see life. Up until that time, it was me against the world. And then after I started changing my philosophy, it was the world was supporting me to become the best version of myself. And then the last P of transformation is your daily practices. What you do every single day is going to determine your habits, and your habits are going to determine your results. So those 4 things: changing the places that you go, changing the people that you interact with, changing your philosophy about life, and then changing your daily practices, implementing in your life the tools and the things that's going to transform your life. When you look at your life, think about it as a garden and ask yourself, what do I want my garden to look like? Do I want it to be full of weeds, or do I want it to be full of roses? If I want it to be full of roses, then I got to go plant the seeds so I can have a rose garden instead of a dirt patch.
Man, thanks so much for sharing. Thanks for being so transparent. I certainly appreciate that. And what that says is you listening out there, you can follow these steps. It's all part of Moreland Training. You can go over to morelandtraining.com. Again, morelandtraining.com. What type of clients, I'll ask that question, are you working with these days? Folks that are listening may say, wow, does he come in and can he train and speak at organizations? Or on the other side, can he help me become a version of what he's doing? Because I've got a story. I've got a message. I've been through some things. Well, you're not alone, man. You're not alone. And so 2-part question. Number one, what type of clients or is your company looking to take on today, if you're looking to take on any clients? And give us the profile so someone is listening right now says, whoa, I need to go to morelandtraining.com. Or you may know someone that you can refer to like now. Take it away, man.
Appreciate that. So 2 sides, as you said. On the corporate side, we work with organizations, and I always say this, that organizations that are serious and committed about creating cultures of civility. So our work on the consulting side is really around civility, and we help organizations create environments where their employees feel appreciated, their employees feel valued, and they want to create the type of culture that people love to come to work. We understand that happy employees are more productive employees. So we help create those cultures of civility on the corporate side. If you're an individual and you say, you know what, I have a message, I have a service, I have a product that I want to get out to the masses, and you're interested in building your business and your brand and your bank account. I tell all of my clients, I want your bank account to reflect your brilliance. So many times we undervalue ourselves, and so many times we don't position ourselves correctly to get the value that we should get. And so when you come and you join our academy, we help position you so when the marketplace sees you, they have the right perception of your brilliance, and then that allows you then to increase those checks and increase those revenue and build what I like to call a thriving, happy business.
How can folks best connect with you? I gave the website, morelandtraining.com, but tell them how they could best connect with you and what is the first step. And I know you have two parts, and I like that because both are relatable and both, one is just an extension of the other, right? In order for things to change, you've got to change. And certainly you can be a leader of one before you're a leader of many, but he also has the other side. So how can folks best connect with you?
Yep. So website wise, if you're on the corporate side, please go to morelandtraining.com. If you're on the solopreneur side, if you're an entrepreneur, business owner, go to drwillspeaks.com. And we'll have information on that website that will get you to all our coaching tracks and things like that. And then on social media, everywhere, I'm at Dr. Will Speaks. So that's DrWillSpeaks, Dr. Will Speaks, on TikTok, on Instagram, on all the social media platforms. That's where you can find us. So on the corporate side, morelandtraining.com. On the solopreneur side, entrepreneur side, go to drwillspeaks.com. I would love to hear your journey. I would love to hear your story. I would love to be a part of your growing success. So reach out to me on Instagram, anywhere, at Dr. Will Speaks.
Fantastic. I encourage you all to do that like now, like even while we're speaking, just open up another browser while you're watching and go ahead and go over there right now. Check the site out and follow the directions. Dr. Will, we have a segment here called Today is My January 1st. And for those that know about the do, I know you already said, yes, Shay, today is my January 1st. And for those folks that are new, welcome. I'll explain what it is in a moment. And for all the family that used to being here every single time, today is my January 1st. Here's what today is my January 1st represents. Today is my January 1st represents a do-over. It represents a fresh start. Today is my January 1st means your past no longer equals your future, that you don't have to wait till December 31st on the back of a napkin at 11:59 p.m. and start writing down your goals. You can have that same energy. You can take those same actions. You can have that same focus right now. So my question to Dr. Will Moreland as he's listening is, one, when you hear those words, today is my January 1st, what do you hear? And number two, what words of encouragement would you share with the audience to empower them, inspire them to take it, not only the first step, but to stay the course?
Oh man, I love that, man. I love that. Today is my January 1st. What I hear is I hear choice. I hear choice, that each and every one of us have the power of choice. And I love what Shay was saying. Listen, I realized that my past didn't determine my future. I realized that my past was not a prison, but that my past was going to be a platform for me to launch into my purpose and my passion. So for those of you that are listening to us today, you can make a choice that today is going to be my January 1st, that I'm going to choose today to live the best version of my life possible. I'm going to choose today to become the best version of myself. And I'm no longer going to be a prisoner of other people's ideas. I'm not going to be a prisoner to that 8th grade English teacher who said I wasn't going to be anything. I'm not going to be a prisoner to that spouse that told me I wasn't going to be anything without them. I'm no longer going to be a prisoner to that society that says this is who I have to be and this is how far I can go. Today, my January 1st, I'm making the choice that I'm getting ready to become the best version of myself. So when we talk about January 1st, I hear the power of choice. It's what you and I have every single day of our life. Is what makes us God's best creation. It what makes us different than a dog and a tree. A dog has to stay where it is. It has to stay what it is. But you and I have the power to transform and to become something totally different. I went from being a gangbanger to being one of the top 30 speakers in the world. And it was all because of a choice. I decided that I wasn't going to be that image, that I wasn't going to be that type of statistic. I was going to be a different type of statistic. I was going to be in the 1% of the most successful people in the world. And it all started with a choice, my friend.
Let me say one thing, man. First, I admire you. Thanks a lot for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. Thanks for encouraging us. Thanks for sharing your core philosophy. That's C.O.R.E, by the way, because you can live the life that you desire. We implement the 4 principles that he shared earlier. I'm going to give him an opportunity to share his closing comments. Do 2 things if you can. One, reiterate what core means. That's number 1. Let's give him a quick 1-minute summary of that. And then number 2, tell them once again how they can best connect with you, man, because I certainly appreciate you. And one thing I know is you can always make more money, but you can't make more time. And you're giving us the most precious resource you have right now, which is your time. So thank you very much on behalf of myself and the whole Happy Entrepreneur community. We appreciate you, man. I can't wait to have eye-to-eye contact when I'm in Phoenix, man.
You know, when we talk about living from your core, I want everybody to think about an apple. I want you to think about an apple. And when you think about that apple and living from your core, when you tap into your core, you then begin to flow. People ask me all the time, Dr. Will, how did you write 50 books? It's because I'm living from my core. When you think about an apple, most people just see an apple, and that would be living on the surface. I want you to dig deep and get to your core, because when you start living from your core, now from that apple, you can produce apple juice, applesauce, apple pie, apple filter, apple custard, candied apples. You are unlimited in what you can produce when you're living from your core. So now I'm just flowing from my core. You see that behind me, I have my 3 apples that always remind me to live from my core, because that's the best version of yourself when you're living from your core. Once again, if you're on the corporate side, go over to morelandtraining.com. You'll see what we're doing, how we're helping small, medium, and large, all the way up to Fortune 100 companies create cultures of civility. If you are a solopreneur, entrepreneur, business owner, connect with me on drwillspeaks.com. That's where we have all of our coaching platforms, one-on-one coaching. We have our Speakers Academy. If you're interested in growing your business, you want to build your business, your bank account, and your brand, then please connect with us and let's grow together.
Once again, thanks so much. You all been watching the one and only Dr. Will Moreland. I want to say thank you for tuning in to the Happy Entrepreneur Show. I want you to know that you're amazing. You're already incredible. And for you, I believe that your best is still yet to come. Your best is yet to come. Your best is yet to come. With that being said, make it a great day, everyone. We'll make some good things happen. We connect again next time. Remember this, that time is really long. It really is. But life, on the other hand, is very, 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 very short. So we've got to live in that moment, and we got to make it count. God bless, and we wish you success. Thanks a lot, Dr. Will. I'll see you later, my friend. See y'all later.
Appreciate you, man.